Hi there. I get asked repeatedly how I go about creating the basic structures I use all around the garden as plant supports. Whether it's for sweet peas, runner beans and vegetable crops, or the freestanding obelisks I use to support roses that need a little bit of support within the garden borders. In this basic tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly how I go about doing it for very, very little money. Wrought iron structures, although beautiful, can set you back as a gardener an awful lot of money, which for many of us simply isn't an option. So in this simple tutorial, I'm going to show you how using simple hazel bean poles and a bundle of pea sticks, you can build an obelisk for as little as 12 to 15 pounds. Each one of these lasting between 2 and 3 years with a little maintenance. All you're going to need is some very basic equipment, some string, some scissors and a ladder. Once you've decided on the location for your obelisk, clear yourself a nice amount of space. Consider as well, if you're going to be planting a climbing rose, producing your obelisk slightly to one side of it, allowing you to spiral the growth of the rose round the outside, allowing for easier pruning. At this stage, you're going to need two pieces of equipment, either an iron digging bar like this, or if you don't have one of those, a sight pin or a broom handle will work just as nicely, which you can drive into the ground with a mallet. Obelisks are best built using odd numbers of bean poles. Imagine the base of the obelisk to be around 3 to 3.5 feet in diameter for something that's going to be about 8 foot high. Using the iron bar, simply drive it into the soil and give it a little wiggle. Work round until you've produced all of your holes, sinking the iron bar in by around 12 to 15 inches. Simply insert the bean poles thick end into the soil and give them a really good push. Bringing them together at the top and centre into a point. If they have a natural curve, do this so they bow outwards. This will give your structure added support. Now the bean poles are driven into the ground, simply bring them together with your hand, leaving around 6 to 8 inches at the top. Tie them together using some hessian twine. Once tied securely with twine, I like to top mine off with a vintage plant pot. I stuff these with leaves, straw or hay, and they make the perfect little place for ladybirds, earwigs and other predatory creatures in the garden to hide. Now if you wanted to, you could leave your basic structure or wigwam there. Personally, I like to add a few flourishes to make them look a little more decorative, especially during the winter. I do this by adding a spiral of pea sticks, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Taking one of your pea sticks, simply insert it alongside one of your bean poles on the inside edge and push it into the ground by about 4 or 5 inches. You can then spiral it around the outside of your wigwam, tying it into place as you go. Securely tie each pea stick into place with hessian twine. Personally, I like to add 2 spirals. So once again, insert your pea stick inside of the edge of the bean poles and spiral it around the outside. I find this gives them the most amount of strength and the most effective decorative look. And there we have it. One really cheap and simple to make plant support or obelisk, suitable for growing sweet peas, runner beans or a climbing rose up in a border. Costing around 12 to 15 pounds each, these are incredibly easy to make. I hope you've enjoyed this really basic tutorial and that you get out into the garden and give this a go.